Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I hope you've smiled today. My name is Trisha Howard, aka Trisha Kicks Sass, and guess what? I am super excited for today's episode with the one, the only Steve Winterfeld. Hey, Steve, how are you?
Legend in my own mind, you know that.
Okay, before we get started, we both wore our holiday sweaters,
This
so
is
we have to
my
film.
hero. This is my
Uh,
hero up until the last 10 minutes of the movie, then he failed me.
Amazing. Oh man, that is so good. Thank you for showing up super festive. But would you mind just introducing yourself? Tell these people why they should listen to you because they definitely should.
So my name's Steve Winterfeld. I'm the advisory CISO at Akamai. And when I was back doing pen testing, my role would be the social engineer on the team. And so I'm going to bring that kind of knowledge to the show. I've been the CISO for Nordstrom Bank, and so also bringing that kind of leadership view.
Nice. So thank you, Steve. I'm really pumped for this episode. It's always fun to talk to you. For those of you who are returning, you know how this goes. Thank you and welcome back. For those of you who are new, Steve and I are going to run through a couple of news updates, and then we're going to get on to what I call the show foo or show protein, which is talking about social engineering. So you've got that to look forward to. Steve, do you want to kick off the news updates? Because you had some really exciting stuff.
So the first was kind of a throwback for me. I did scouts when I was growing up, and I'm happy to see that scouting now has a cybersecurity merit badge. And if you go into the show notes and go to that story, you can see the badge. I may try to get a copy of that badge and just show it on one of my jackets because it's pretty
It's very
cool.
cute.
The
Mhm.
other, as we go into this holiday season, hopefully you have some downtime. And I think this is kind of a fun thing to do is go watch podcasters like Jim Browning or any of the anti-scammer podcast or YouTube channels. And it's really kind of fun to see some of them get a little bit of payback. So that's my little opportunity for joy this season.
Love that. I love that. It is actually very funny. He's very good to watch. So my news updates. First and foremost, we have a tool that was released. It's called the AI reboot that can help you with immediate remote cause analysis with AI. So one of our researchers has tuned a GPT to help you find, especially around Patch Tuesday. Sorry, it's called Patch Wednesday, to help you find them very, very quickly and apply them, the relevant stuff to your environment now. It's very exciting. As Steve mentioned, anything that we talk about today will be in the show notes. So go check those links out, including but not limited to the proof of concept and GitHub repo for this one here. We did have a discussion, if you will. If you've haven't been living under a rock, you've seen React has had quite the lack of Christmas joy on the information security community. So we do have a response to that. That also for those of you Akamai customers can see what guidance we have for you there. And finally, certainly not least, last but certainly not least, is we had a piece of research from Larry Cashdollar on some a big flaw that was found in legacy Vivotech uh, firmware. So this is actually a vulnerability that had been found a while ago and was reported, but never did anything with it. And so it has been just sitting in the background for many years until it was rediscovered throughout his research process. And I thought it was a really nice transition into something super brilliant that Steve said when we were prepping for this call, which is what is old has become new again. And I think that no other aspect of security is that true for than scamming. so, um, but as we are jumping into this, Steve, do you want to start talking about like some behaviors of the attackers, both then and now that we are seeing with your super social engineering expertise?
So first of all, I do want to share that we just recently put out a State of the Internet report, which is our security research, and it's all about fraud and abuse. And I'm going to declare fraud as my simple explanation is anything that involves deception.
Mm,
And social engineering can be used for good or evil. And today we're going to talk about how it's often used for evil by by them. But ultimately, I want to give you a reference. So if you want to become an expert in social engineering, there's a book out there called Influence, Science and Practice. I think it's on its fifth edition right now, and it talks about some principles. And what we're going to do today is walk through each one of those principles, and these are how I manipulate you. These are the techniques. Again, hopefully I'm doing it for good, but sometimes I'm having a bad day, so I'm going to take somebody down. But really, so let's kind of walk through these. The first is consistency.
Oh, yep.
And so I want to make sure that your view of the world is consistent and that you're not, like, if you make a commitment, then I'm going to take that commitment and grow. I'm going to take a small task you did for me and then kind of grow it larger and then grow it larger. This is a very common technique in turning someone into a spy for you.
Mm.
It's again, there are a lot of different ways to think about this. The best example of this, if you haven't heard of pig butchering, this is kind of what I would say is a great example of this arc where you start off with a relationship, you turn it into a romance, you then turn it into buying crypto, you then get them to take out a second mortgage on the house, you then get them to cash in their 401k, and you take everything they have.
Oh, awful. That's just horrible.
It is. And so this is just kind of a technique that you want to go in and you want to work with somebody over time. The next is, basically a quid pro quo reciprocation. It's, there's study that, if I give you a pen, something, as a salesperson, all of these things are the same things that you would use as a salesman.
Right.
If I give you something as small as a pen, you feel you owe me something. If I can
Um,
get you to take an Apple Watch, then you're probably going to sign a
the
contract with me.
timeshare concept.
And so,
Yeah.
it's this, trying to give you something so that you feel like you owe me. So a classic thing is if you download, uh, some software,
Mhm.
I can call up and say, a lot of the tech scams I could say are here. Hey, I can clear some malware off your system, things of that nature.
Right, yes.
Another one is social proofing. And this is kind of peer pressure. So here I'm going to do something like put out fake reviews, give an expert endorsement or a celebrity endorsement. Um, and so these are where I want you to do this. Now, I'm going to put FOMO, fear of missing out, down under scarcity, but FOMO might fit under here as well.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, especially from the peer pressure angle. This point here, I think, is something that I take very seriously because what better think about how things have been passed on for decades, for effectively our entire existence. If I go and say, "Hey, Steve, I really, really like this new seltzer brand out there," like that's the best way to get somebody to go buy that seltzer brand as a personal recommendation. And then you add on the celebrity thing and deep fakes and all that kind of stuff. Now you can start making it look like somebody who is super beloved is definitely part of this crypto scam. So that's actually not only hitting the victims who are giving their money, but it's also hitting the celebrity that they're impersonating, right? And so if that's,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's a tricky one.
And I'm going to include something here because, again, this can be part of a lot of these, but there's also this fear factor I can include in this, and techniques like extortion. Now, extortion is not using deception, but when you start off like sextortion,
Mm.
where you're threatened to expose some teenage kid sex pictures or
Oh,
sexual images, whether real or generated through Gen AI, and then you're extorting them to do things. There's an element of deception in here to get that initial relationship going. And again, if you haven't seen anything on sex extortion, it's worth understanding, especially if you have teenagers in the house.
Agreed.
It's a real problem.
Mhm. Yeah. It's well, and I think one of the biggest things we've talked at length about, Steve, when we're talking about social engineering in general, is all of this comes down to an emotional response. And not every, it's not even only bad emotions. I mean, we see it a lot around the holidays. There are a bunch of like charity scams where they'll put up a GoFundMe page and, oh, go help this person, and they're not only playing on fear from some type of authority figure or some type of I mean, just any sort of fear response, I guess. It's also the positive ones too. And I think that is particularly nasty whenever you're using something like that to get people to pay to an illegitimate purpose, because then it ends up taking away or making people a little more scared to actually do the things that do help, right? There, we
Absolutely.
how these things work is that they mimic things that we know we are supposed to do or that are legitimate, right? Like they are. We were discussing before, like how the scams, like method of delivery of scams, is going back to snail mail too.
Absolutely. I actually got a postcard.
Oh, look at you! You came prepared.
So I got a postcard saying, hey, you can be part of this Amazon program, 100% back to the old school. And this is a lot more investment on their part because it costs money to send this out. So
Yes.
they have to be getting a return on investment. This has to be working for some people.
Well, agreed. And I think with Gen AI and everything else out there right now, they can minimize the time that it takes to create the scam, which is probably what they were spending a fair amount of time on before. And now they can spend their time into distribution. So yeah, they're putting dollars behind it. But I I imagine that a lot of people would get something in the mail, and there's an element of trust within this method of delivery that we have kind of learned we shouldn't have with an email, right? Like some rando sends you something on email and says click on this link. Hopefully people take a second, but when you get something in the mail, or I got one the other day that was a fake water bill. This one was very clever. It was a fake water bill, and it was like, call there's an issue with your water account and blah blah blah. Now what they didn't realize was that they sent it to the wrong zip code, so it was very clearly fake to me. But I can imagine that would catch somebody off guard for sure.
Just like I see right now, I get a ton of boxes delivered. So I see a text and it's almost instinctual to respond to the text to get that box delivered.
Yeah,
And just,
absolutely.
just stop, go to the website, go through the website, don't go through the text.
That's right. That's
Uh,
right. And if it's on mail, don't scan the QR code. Don't do that.
and so this kind of goes to the next one, which is authority.
Yes.
You get a note from the bank, the government. The one I heard from my buddy at the Secret Service, his friend called and said, hey, the FBI said they're coming to arrest me. I owe back taxes and I need to send them gift cards to cancel this out.
Oh
And I'm
no.
like, none of that makes sense. But in the moment, when you think you're talking to the FBI who's coming to arrest you,
Yep.
your brain short circuits.
Of course.
Uh,
Of course.
the next one is likability. Think of romance scams. You talked about that. It's Christmas. Think of see these needy people, these hungry people, commonality things of, this is a group I like. Hey, do you want to join this disc golf community? I'm in. So all those kind of things, it is really here. And as a social engineer, this is where we get into mirroring. If I'm talking to you one on one, I'm going to use the same hand motions. I'm going to use the same tone. I'm going to lean in or lean out. I'm going to mirror everything you do, and it's going to greatly expand your likability factor for me. And ultimately, likability leads to me manipulating you being helpful.
Yep. Ooh, I like that. I like that. I can't believe we're already at time. I mean, I can because we could talk about this for literal days. Is there anything else as we wrap up that you would like to leave our audience with?
I would just say, ultimately here it is about stopping for a second and thinking. And just that one moment, does this make sense? Should I respond here or should I go through the normal channel? that's the best way to protect yourself against all this social engineering.
Love that. And that can apply to a lot of stuff in general, frankly, because ultimately this comes down to an amygdala response. And if you can stop your amygdala from taking over, that can help you in a lot of ways. And with that being said, it is a very bittersweet time for me. This is actually my last episode here on the SIG download. Make sure you stay updated, keep up to date here with what's going on in 2026. Stay tuned. There will be some many new developments here. As we mentioned, check out the attachments tab that will have all of the links of things we discussed today. And if you are so inclined, you have comments, concerns, jokes, songs even, please email us at brighttalk@akamai.com. And thank you so much for all of you who have watched this show, one episode or all 25. It has been a pleasure. And thank you so much. Cybernara, y'all.
Happy holidays.